Hello Motoheads and welcome to some more high-speed action. We are racing as Doug Henry, game face on, the gate is down. We are going one-on-one versus KUNO. And Doug Henry got the whole shot, Motoheads. I love this track. This is A1 2025. Oh, okay, I blew that. Now I gotta try to quad into the turn, Motoheads. Oh, barely made it. Going off the track. Oh, KUNO goes down. Head first into the dirt. And we got a 2.5 second lead on KUNO. Now, KUNO is a MX Legends legend in his own right. The former #1 plate holder in at least one league that I know of. But come on, this is Doug Henry, number 19 on his 4-stroke Yamaha. Former 250cc national motocross champion. At the time he was riding his 426 Yamaha. And the 250s were all 2 strokes. This is about 25 years ago or so, give or take. And Doug Henry, Motoheads, my all-time favorite rider. Oh, coming up short just as I give him praise. And here comes KUNO. Now KUNO, number 10 on his KTM, he is known for his consistency. We got back around him for the time being. KUNO can click off his fastest lap time again and again as long as nothing goes wrong for him. Whereas now, I consider Doug Henry here number 19, aka myself. Oh, KUNO got around us. Going for the same line right there. How many guys can fit in that rut? I will spare you the "that's what she said" on that one. It doesn't count. You can't "that's what she said" your own sentence. Alright, we're going for the quad double. KUNO off the track. And we are hanging with him. This is only a 5-minute moto. We're halfway through it. And we are right on KUNO's heels. Running a 103.54. Man, I can smell his exhaust. Up close. Going into the whoops. Right on his butt. Alright, Motoheads, can I heave this triple? Yes. Clearing it clean. Oh, KUNO wants to make contact. It's going to be that kind of party. Alright, we got back around KUNO. And I gotta say, Motoheads, we just did a 102.95. I have done faster on this track, but not too much faster. KUNO pushes us wide and gets past us over that triple. Alright, we're going to do the... Oh, never mind. Never mind, whatever I was going to say. Completely blew that rhythm. 1 minute and 20 seconds left on the clock, and KUNO is beginning to pull away from us here. As I would expect. Ugh! So a lot of you younger riders might not be familiar with the entire Doug Henry saga. The experimental 4-stroke, the broken arms, the broken back. Oh! Coming up a little short on that triple that time. Now KUNO's got a good 3-second lead on us. So I have a couple of Motohead-oriented tattoos on me, Motoheads. I got a knobby tire, I got a piston and things like that. But my favorite tattoo takes up a good portion of my ribs. About 12 hours of tattooing is into it altogether. And it is an image of Doug Henry. I got that right after he won his championship. Now, most people are going to think that tattoo is pretty silly, but it means a lot to me, and that's what counts. I'm going to tell you, Motoheads, the story of the one time that I met another Motohead in passing at the strangest place, who appreciated my Doug Henry tattoo. As a matter of fact, he said, "That is the coolest tattoo I have ever seen in my life." He said that about 25 years after I got the tattoo. And definitely the only person I ever met who appreciated it on that level. And we came up short again, Motoheads. The 2-lap board is out. We're about to get the white flag. And we're a good 8 seconds behind KUNO here. Like I said, he's just clicking them off nice and consistent. Okay, white flag, Motoheads. And if you've ever heard of Henry Hill on the MX National Circuit at Budds Creek, this is the Henry that they're talking about, Doug Henry. And as I have already stated, he is my all-time favorite motocross rider. Okay, so Doug Henry and Budds Creek. If you know, you know. You've probably already seen his big crash there, where he ended up breaking his back. If you haven't seen it, Google it. Doug Henry crash, Budds Creek. You might want to put in broken back in the search, because that was only his first big crash at that track. All right, Motoheads, KUNO went over the finish line, and it looks like we are going to be not. All right, Motoheads, we got a 102.95. KUNO got a 1 minute 0.82. Let's go ahead and get into the next moto. All right, we are in Salt Lake City, Motoheads. Game face on. The gate is down. We got the jump on KUNO again. Those KTMs must be slow, Motoheads. We got the whole shot, 2 races in a row. All right, doing the triple quad into the turn. I love this track. All right, Motohead, something happened to KUNO behind us. And we need to jump all the way over the tabletop, triple into the turn, into the whoops. And then this weird double, sometimes triple in there. I'm sure somebody can quad it. All right, so Doug Henry, Henry Hill, went down in Budds Creek, broke his back severely. They said he would never race again. I think it was 5 months later he was out there doing it. All right. Doug Henry is in a groove here, Motoheads. This track is difficult to make up time on. And KUNO's a good 3 seconds behind us. Oh, we totally ruined that rhythm section. Just as I was saying, it's hard to lose time on this track. Or make up time, depending on who you are. All right, so Doug Henry. In my opinion, he was going to win the 1997 Supercross Series. If you've never seen the 1997 Seattle Supercross, go back and watch it. Amazing race. It made me a true Doug Henry believer, if I wasn't already. And then he had a run-in with Jimmy Button, broke his hand. He was out of that championship. All right, Motoheads, we're now in this section this time, over the tabletop. All right, so that was 1997. The next thing you know, Yamaha is coming out with an experimental 5-valve 4-stroke. And Doug Henry was going to be the test rider / racer on this thing. In 1997, when he came back from the broken hand, He rode the last round of Supercross at Sandboy Stadium in Vegas. And he won that race, Motoheads. Very first time that that bike was ever out on the track. That bike is now in the MX Hall of Fame, or whatever it's called, out somewhere in Ohio, I believe. All right, and that was the predecessor to every modern-day four-stroke bike out there. I had a 1999 YZ400F based on that model. 5-valve. The most powerful dirt bike that I have ever owned. I have ridden 500cc two-strokes that had just as much punch coming out of a turn. All right. So Doug Henry, the pioneer and father of modern-day four-stroke motocross. He goes out in Budds Creek that same year, I believe, 97. And that experimental bike failed, Motoheads. He came up short over a big jump, and he broke both of his arms. All right, Motoheads. The clock is winding down, and we are still in front of KUNO by 4 seconds. I'm not sure what's going on with him back there. But with the exception of a couple of mistakes, Doug Henry is riding like Doug Henry here. All right, so I think it was a year, I think it was actually 2 years later. He was going for the championship, if I remember correctly. I could be wrong. Leave a comment if my memory is failing me here. But he was back at Budds Creek. And I remember they interviewed his mechanic at the time, Pete Steinbreaker, on on ESPN2, not to be confused with CNN3. Anywho, Pete Steinbreaker was saying that he asked Doug Henry before the race at Budds Creek, where he was apparently cursed. He asked him, do you want to just get through this thing? Meaning just finish the race without getting crazy with it and not get hurt. And Doug Henry's reply to him was no. Meaning, no, I don't want to just get through this. I'm going to go out and win it. And that's exactly what he did. He went out and won that race that year, Motoheads. All right, we are getting the white flag, still almost 4 seconds in front of KUNO. This is amazing. I got to hold it together. I always do the on-off there because it just really keeps me in line for this next section. Most people jump that entire tabletop back there. If I lose a tenth of a second there, I think I make up for it with consistency on my landing and re-entry to the next section. We've got about a 2-second lead over KUNO. And we are almost to the finish here, Motoheads. We are going to beat KUNO. I don't think I've ever beat KUNO in a race like this. He must have had a terrible one. All right, Motoheads. KUNO got a better lap than us, but what a fun race. We are in Philadelphia, the least friendly place in America. The gate is down. Once again, we got a pretty good jump. Going bar to bar in the first turn with KUNO. He gets the whole shot this time. Different rhythms. Oh, and we are bar to bar. Doing the same jump combinations in that section. Off the track slightly. Got to get it back on there. And somehow, Motoheads, we are out in front of KUNO again. Here he comes through the whoops. Oh, this is a good race. I know it just started, but what a battle already. KUNO came up a little bit short there. I'm going to try to hug to the inside. Not quite. Okay, let's see what he does here. The triple quad, we're going to follow him over it. We got the triple in. He failed on that one. Over the tabletop. Somehow he still maintains the lead. Oh, wow, this is good. All right, Motoheads, we're back out front. Here comes KUNO. Oh, we came up short on that triple. Oh, and there's KUNO out front. He's got a 2-second lead. It's kind of like fighting some kind of a python. And slowly. Oh, that was no good. Slowly, KUNO just constricts until I can't breathe anymore. All right, Motoheads, enough of that tomfoolery. Let's get our game face back on and try to catch this guy. And I'm going to tell you guys the story of the tattoo. My dog Oatmeal and myself, we thru-hiked the Colorado Trail last year in 2024. Almost a 500-mile hike. Took us 42 days. Whoa! We got reset, Motoheads. During that hike, we were somewhere along the Continental Divide. It crosses the Continental Divide in numerous places. The Continental Divide itself is a very squiggly line up here in these Rocky Mountains. Over the tabletop. Anywho, the Colorado Trail and the Continental Divide Trail are the same trail for a couple hundred miles. Probably about 250 miles, something like that. So we were on the Continental Divide Trail section of the Colorado Trail. We were going over a pass that was over 12,000 feet in elevation. And there is a Continental Divide Trail for motorized vehicles as well. And it shares the hiking trail in just a few places. And this was one of them. So, Oatmeal and I get to the top of this pass. The weather is nice. We're going to stop and eat something. And here comes some dual sport riders. I believe there were 4 of them altogether, maybe 5. So I go over and I approach them and I start talking motorcycles with them. And I'm feeling them out to see, how much do these guys even know about, say, motocross and stuff like that. Well, as it turns out, one of these guys had actually qualified for nationals before, more than one. And we get to talking, and this was the best session of bench racing that I've probably ever done. The knowledge on these guys was crazy. One of them had been to one of the same Supercross races that I had been to in the Silver Dome in Pontiac, Michigan. Anyway, we start talking about different legends of the sport, and I tell him, you know what, I'm a big Doug Henry fan. And one of these guys, his eyes lights up. It's the guy that qualified for the Nationals before. And he goes, oh man, I love Doug Henry. I've ridden at Doug Henry's property before. I'm like, no kidding. So I pull up my sun hoodie and I show him my ribs. And his jaw just drops. He goes, oh my God. One of the other guy goes, what is it? He goes, this guy's got a huge tattoo of Doug Henry going down the side of his torso. And we bonded. It was hard to stop talking to these guys and get on down the trail. They took a bunch of pictures with me. They took pictures of my tattoo. They said that Doug Henry would be seeing the pictures in the next couple of days because they had a friend who knows Doug Henry well, apparently. And that pretty much sums up that story. But when that guy looked at it and said, that is the coolest tattoo I have ever seen in my life, it meant a lot to me. Because nobody appreciated that tattoo the way I did and the way that guy did until then. We are getting the white flag, number 19, riding his Yamaha 4-stroke. And KUNO had just making another mistake. Apologies to the IRL Doug Henry for not riding like he can. Okay, Motoheads. Last time through this rhythm section, gonna try for the 3-4. And we blew that one. Not that it really matters at this point. KUNO has already went over the finish line. All right, Motoheads. Our lap time is more than a second slower than KUNO, but not too bad. That was really fun. Thank you very much, KUNO. Whatever you guys do, have fun with it, and we will see you in the next moto.